Hi, friends. Welcome to your Story Within podcast, episode 20. Today, we're going to talk about creating your own opportunities. And I have a wonderful guest. Let me bring her on the screen here with me. We have Crystal Marshall. Hey, Crystal. How are you today?
Good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to have you on the show. And I got to tell you, when we originally talked about it, I'm like, what am I going to have her talk about? Because she can talk about anything. And she's done so much. She's done everything. I couldn't even figure out what to choose from. So, as you heard me say, I talked about creating your own opportunities. So, friends, let me tell you a little bit about Crystal. So, Crystal, Marshall, I should give her last name. Gosh, I'm so terrible about that, because when you have a friend who's so talented, you just talk about their first name, right?
Right.
Well, Crystal Marshall is the owner of Virginia Marketing and Media, LLC, but she is also the owner of several other businesses, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. In addition, she is an author, but she's going to tell you, I'm sure, that her most important roles are wife and mother. How many kids do you have, Crystal?
We have three, 10, almost 8, so 7 and some change, and 5. So I haven't slept in 10 years, so no big deal.
Awesome. So, why did I bring Crystal on the show to talk about creating opportunities? Well, you heard in my short snippet that she owns several businesses, right? Well, let me tell you, she is what I call a serial entrepreneur. Now, what the heck is a serial entrepreneur? How does that make it different than, somebody who's an entrepreneur who goes out and starts their own business? Well, let me tell you, I found this article actually called, What is a Serial Entrepreneur? So I'll give a call out to Gary Henderson. He's the one who wrote it. I found this article on digitalmarketing.com. And it says, an entrepreneur is a person who starts their journey with a single idea and puts all of their effort into this one idea, to create this big success. The focal point for the entrepreneur is to make their venture most profitable with the least expenditures. However, a serial entrepreneur is capable of taking that brave decision of starting multiple ventures, so not just one. They start a whole bunch, So, but what does that mean? So what? We start a bunch of, ventures. Well, a serial entrepreneur is someone who is exceptionally creative, and I can attest to Crystal's creativity. I'll tell you why in a minute. But they're great at bringing up new business ideas. They work hard on those ideas to set up that new adventure. I would say they make the magic happen. That's what I call it. They make the magic happen. And it really is that passion. You're going to hear just in talking with Crystal how passionate she is about what she does. You can tell that she really does enjoy it. The other thing I'll tell you, the difference is outside of passion is kind of the skills that they bring. It's that constant optimism, that enthusiasm. They're super connectors. They're very social people in most senses. They don't let failure stop them. They just try again. If that didn't work, let me try this route. They're constantly trying. They're not afraid to fail. They're good team players. And I can attest to this too. I've seen Crystal take, every resource available to her and make it worth, usable, worth something, something I would look at and be like, we're really going to use that for the photo shoot? Okay. I don't see it, but she certainly does. They tend to be innovators and strategists. So that in a nutshell is a serial entrepreneur, and that is Crystal in a nutshell. She is that and more. No pressure, Crystal.
Right. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, so long story short, 10 years ago, I was working as a director at a nonprofit for inner city kids, doing programming and curriculum writing and all sorts of things. And I said, I'm gonna go into the school system. I already have my master's in education. I'm gonna be a principal by the time I'm 35. Like, I have my whole life ahead of me. I already know. Like, I have my 10-year plan. All this. Well, I got pregnant with my first. We're married. So things happen.
Right.
So I got pregnant with my first. I'm like, we're gonna do daycare. Then I'm like, daycare is like $1,000 a month. Like, that's not happening. Like,
Right.
I could watch my kid and like, how hard can it be, right? Like, whatever. So I decided to stay home with my first, and I went through a really, really dark depression, and like I lost of my identity. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm running around with a toddler now. Like, and then we miscarried in that season, and I'm just like, I don't know what my next goal is, what's happening. And so I decided, well, I might as well learn to take photos of my kid. So I bought my first camera off of Amazon. I still have it to this day as a reminder. And I bought my first camera off of Amazon for $400. I said, hey, now I'm a photographer. Let me just turn the camera on. I'm going to start a website. Anybody want photos? Like, that's literally how I started. And I didn't even know, I didn't even look up one video, nothing. Like, I didn't know anything. So I went to some, cool, hip, cool downtowny place, and I shot for my friend's senior photos, and all the photos were horrible. I mean, awful. They were even in web-size quality, so the lady couldn't even print them. They were so low res.
And you have come a long way.
I give up. This is not what I'm supposed to do. But then I just educated myself. I went online classes, courses, YouTube, whatever I could find. And then I just started growing and changing. That same nonprofit that I had worked on previous year and I quit, they wanted me as their photographer. But the caveat is I had a toddler now. So I had to go with my toddler in a backpack carrier every day in 100-degree temperatures to take photos of this outdoor camp. We're climbing walls, we're doing archery, we're in the pond, all this stuff. So I was doing all the media and marketing for this nonprofit with the toddler on my back with all of my gear strapped to me for an entire summer. And from that, I learned so much. I mean, literally, it was like boot camp photography 101, like literally. So from that, I got wedding after job after job, all the parents and the couples that had met there, or the staff. And so I just started, literally just my calendar started to fill up. And this is just me not even knowing what was happening. I was like, oh, yeah, I could do your wedding. I could do this, no problem. And so I started traveling and doing weddings. From then, what else?
So let me stop you for a second before you get too far down the path. Why did you believe photography was the skill to focus on?
I mean, I kind of fell into it by accident because I'm like, well, if I'm going to take pictures of my kid, this is a skill set a lot of people could use and pay me for, and then I can work from home. And so I just kind of fell into it.
So how long do you think it took you to perfect the skill? I know you're constantly learning, but how long did it take to really get there and say, hey, I'm pretty good, and people are now taking notice of what I bring to the table?
So I always tell my students, like, the adage is 10,000 hours, you become an expert. Well, that's around 6 years of time. And if I look at, because I've been doing it for 10 years now, if I look at year 6, like I was getting steady bookings, I was getting featured in a lot of different things, and I'll talk more about that. I was getting my market, my foundation, the people, my recommending clients, and I was really comfortable in what I was doing. And so I'm going to attest to that. Around year 5, year 6 is when like stuff started to chug along.
Okay.
And so I tell my students, like, if you're in year 1, year 2, and you're hitting walls, like, you're not that 10,000 hours yet. So like, keep pushing.
Right. That's great advice. All right. So you talked about that you started out professionally doing weddings. How many have you done to date?
So we have done 55 plus weddings, and we were featured. Expertise.com voted us top wedding photographers in Virginia Beach, and now Chesapeake best portrait photographers 5 or 6 years in a row, which was totally random because we are literally just me and my husband and my kids. Like, we work out of our home. We're not paying for ads on Google and Facebook. It's all word of mouth. And so that, it was a surprise to me.
Well, that speaks volumes, word of mouth. My husband started a business back in the early 2000s.
Right.
I've shared a couple of times on the show that his kidneys had failed, so he had to kind of give up the business. But, that was, gosh, 2004. He still gets referrals to this date. It's the strangest thing. But what I learned from that experience was when you care about people and you give consumers what they want, but you do it in a way where they feel valued and you go above and beyond just naturally. It's not like you're trying. It's just some people have the gift and they just go above and beyond. People take notice of that, and those referrals will just keep coming in and in and in and in. I had one of my husband's former clients said, "Hayden, you do not charge enough for everything that you do." And he said, "Well, I know there's, competition out there that does, charge a lot more." He said, "But I bet I get more business because I get the referral." And because of that, he also gets lots of tips. He doesn't even ask for anything extra, and he'll get, when he used to do it, he would get a lot of extra. So definitely goes a long way. So now is your business mostly referral business then, or?
It's all referral. And I'm going to talk more about our other businesses, but my husband's business, he's a contractor and a tiny home builder. And that's in a 2020, we started that in 2020. But now we don't even do anything on social media, nothing. It's all through just word of mouth. And he's booked for 6 months ahead of time.
Yes, I bet. Yeah. That was the flip side of COVID. Is now people are staying home and they're wanting all this home remodeling done.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, I'd like some home remodeling done too, but when my business slowed down a bit because I do resume writing and career coaching and stuff, and when people, when companies weren't hiring or they were, taking things slow, it impacted my business. And I kind of had to shift gears and do more of my writing during that time frame. But that the home side, home improvements, I bet he's found great success in that.
Yes. And, just what you were talking about, that ability to kind of shift and evolve as things happen. I try to coach all of my students hey, I know that all of your bread and butter is in weddings and in portraits, but what if there's another 2020?
Right.
What I did before 2020 even happened, I kind of saw the writing on the wall in my health and my lifestyle and being flown out to all these places and my kids and the homeschooling aspects. So I was like, you know what, 2020, I'm going to stand back. I'm going to step back and start focusing on corporate media, online, social media marketing, product photography, food photography, all that stuff that you can kind of do from home. You can do digitally and you can market, and all my marketing skills blew up. I was doing 14, 15 social media clients during COVID and doing product photography, doing food photography, doing online e-commerce stores for people, all this stuff that people are like, oh my gosh. So I try to train my students hey, I know that you might not be a graphic designer. You can throw some stuff together on Canva. You can start getting some social media clients. You can start getting your marketing and transferring the skills that you already have for your business on the marketing side, because you never know how that's going to happen. And
I'll tell you, that's one of the things that I love about you, and I know is why you get so many referrals as well, in addition to other reasons. But you are a teacher. So not only do you do the work, but you teach people how to fish. So that, they don't have to always come back. They come back because they want to come back. I just love that you help, people learn the skill too. It's like you're paying it forward. I really appreciate that about you. Definitely. Oh, it looks like we have a comment. Hi, Chappie. So Chappie chimed in. Awesome.
Yes.
That was Steve West, by the way. I knew him from my time in the Department of Defense doing the Executive Development Leadership Program. So that was pretty cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I have a big heart for mentoring. I never was mentored. I went to the YouTube University, and so I have a passion and heart. So I actually go on Instagram and Facebook, and I see maybe studios or photographers that are kind of struggling, and I'll go and I'll message them and say, hey, do you want mentoring? Like, I don't even care about the cost. Like, text me, call me, like, let's get coffee. Like, I want to train you, I want to coach you. And so one of my students, she was going to give up on the business in December. She was going to literally just like, I'm leaving to Florida. I'm going to sell all my gear. I'm done. And I was like, DM me, let's talk, let's get coffee. And now she's full-time social media marketing, website design, graphics, and then she does product and food. And I'm giving her all of my clients. I'm literally just referring her every time.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I have to be careful watching your Instagram and your Facebook when you post those food pictures, because I'm like, they're so good. I get hungry. So I have to be careful with you nowadays.
And then I have to go to the gym. I have to make sure I go to the gym a lot.
Right. All right. So let's see. I had this question up, but then I didn't want to stop you. Okay. So you don't just do photography anymore. What else do you do?
So I'm mostly a marketing strategist and a marketing guru. So like, this is so helpful. I get so many, like, what app should I use for this? What kind of website is best for this? What tool should I use for this? How often should I post? Like, all of these really practical questions that I have seen time and time again. Wonderful bakers that can bake an amazing cake, wonderful photographers, wonderful business owners, but they don't know how to make residual income over time, passive income streams, and really make money. Like, support your family off of what you love. And that all goes back to marketing and strategy and creating different income streams over the course of time. And so we have 5 passive income streams now. Like, I have all these t-shirt companies selling all my stuff. I just get a check every month.
All right, let me bring up all those business links so people can see all these different businesses.
Yeah, so Handy Annie Fixes is my husband's contracting business. Nomad Earth Design is our tiny home and reclaimed furniture business. Marketing and media, we're talking about that now. Virginia Photos and Films, where we rent out our private studio space to local photographers, and that's a passive income stream as well. So we do a lot of different things.
And you're also an author, which we're going to talk about at the end. And then I seem to recall you're a very entrepreneurial family. I believe your daughter, wasn't she making candles?
Yes. So in our house, homeschooling is not just, hey, from 9 to 12 we homeschool and then the rest of the time we're doing our business. It is integrated into our life. We're at Walmart looking at unit prices for this, at Home Depot getting sizes of bolts and nuts and all this stuff. We're going to the dump, finding things that we can reuse, finding things we can reclaim. I mean, it is literally our life, like business.
That's fantastic.
It's together. And so with my 10-year-old, she's like, Mom, I want money for clothes. I'm like, well, you can do chores. I don't want to do that. Okay, well, you can start a business. Okay, what am I going to start a business on? I was like, well, I don't know. What can you make? What can you do? I love candles. All right, let's budget. What's going to happen with the candles? How can we buy? What's your budget to start your business? How are you going to market? And so everything from the start, getting the supplies, to the making of the website, to the social media post, she has been integrated and learning through all of those different apps and things. And she's 10, and she has a merchandise store that's a passive income stream. And so we need to start teaching the next generation how to create wealth, how to use our skills and abilities to help their family in the future. Whether or not she does that as her full-time career, it can be a side thing. It can just be cooking in the background, but it's the same skill sets that she's going to use in the workplace. Right.
I'll tell you, I have 3 pretty much grown children, 2 adult daughters with their own children, and then I have a 17-year-old, so he's almost out. But my middle daughter, she works full-time. She has 5 children, and she managed to start up 3 years ago a subscription business, and she does the Unicorn Fun Box. And that thing has just taken off because unicorns don't go out of style. I mean, she gets adults ordering unicorn stuff, but she does the most fantastic thing with that. Apparently, fantastic is my word of the day because I think I've used that like 3 or 4 times already. But anyway, the subscription model has been very interesting, whether it's offering services on your website and charging a subscription fee. Like I have my other friend, Crystal, does the web design for me, and she does a subscription service for my monthly web updates and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then they have the subscription boxes, like I talked about with my daughter. You know, she's getting ready to start another one. She said it took about 3 years, and then boom, it just blew up. And she's teaching her daughter how to do the process as well. And I told her I need to have her on the show because there's so many people who want to do the subscription process as well. So I'm glad that you're teaching your children and that they're moving forward with this knowledge, because not everybody has it. It really is a gift, and you really have to have the desire and a passion to stick with it, because as much as we say it's exciting and we like doing it, it is a lot of work, and you have to constantly feed it, you know, and you don't want to lose that passion, because that's the worst thing, you know, when you burn yourself out, you know, you can't leave yourself.
Which is what one of the questions we're going to talk about, mistakes I've made. So
yes. Well, let me see. Now I've lost my place on my question. All right, let's see. All right. Okay. What would you tell someone who feels stuck in a situation and desires a change? How can they create their own opportunities? How should they go about it?
Oh, man. So I would say, man, self-education is key. If you feel stuck in an area, gosh, there's so many online resources, so many cheap $20, $30 workshop, e-class, YouTube, something online that you can learn and grow and change in an area. You can go talk to a mentor, DM somebody on Instagram, say, hey, can I get coffee with you? Can I just have like a 15, 20-minute chat? Like, am I going in the right direction? And so for my husband, I call him, he has like 20 dads. Okay. So he has like a contractor dad. He's like, hey, I have a question on this. He has a next door neighbor dad. He's like, hey, I need help with this. He has his father, dad. He's like, hey, I need, so he has a lot of great, things that I learned from him. Like, hey, if you don't know, like, go talk to somebody, like find mentors in all of these areas. And so that inspired me to get moms and just like, hey, I have a question on this. So I'll text them, hey, like, what do I do about this or whatever. And so creating that network of, spiritual parents or mentors is so key. Educating yourself, trying to see what there's a need for is a huge thing that we need to shift, especially with 2020. It was like, oh, well, people don't need portrait photography. How can we, what is the market saying? And that literally is what happened with my husband. He was a pastor. He was a worship pastor at a church. He was a youth pastor before that, worship pastor. The church is not doing well during COVID and actually dissolved right after COVID. And we kind of saw some things happening. And so we kind of like, hey, let's get out now, like whatever. So he has 3 master's degrees in the Bible. And what does somebody do with 3 master's degrees in theology do during COVID? And so I was like, honey, what are people doing right now? They're stuck in their homes. And he's always been handy. I mean, he's always been the family handyman, dishwasher, anything. Like, he's on call with my family all the time. And he manages our other property. He's on call. I was like, you have a shed full of tools. You have a truck. You're a handyman now. Here's your LLC. Here's your license. Here's your marketing strategy. Here's your website. Like, I'm going to put a couple posts out on Facebook, put a couple posts on Marketplace, whatever. And then all of those contacts and the people that we have made through our network and the community service and all these things, well, I just start tagging them. And then, hey, can you fix the dryer? Can you fix my fridge? And that turned into, can you build a addition to my house? Can you build a deck? Can you build this? And so it just kind of evolved just because I saw there was a need. He had some skills, and how can we use that? So that's kind of what my advice would be.
Right. Yeah. Figure out what you're passionate about, because if you're going to start a business on it, you're going to want to like what you're doing.
Yes.
What is the old adage? You'll never work a day in your life if you do something you're passionate about.
Absolutely. Yes.
Something along that lines. I'm sure I messed that up, but hey, you know what I meant. And that's truly how I ended up back in the career side.
Right.
You know, people thought I was crazy when I left my government job. I was, you know, being groomed for senior executive service in the federal government. I was 2.5 years away from my 10-year mark. You know, 10 years for folks means pension. You know, you got to have years and age, and the minimum years is 10. And so I was 2.5 years away. And then I'm like, you know, I'm not getting any younger. I need to make a change. And if I'm going to do it, I better do it now.
Yep.
And I left, and people were like, what are you doing? But I haven't regretted it, and God has been good. He's been opening lots of doors. So I haven't skipped a beat, but you got to do something you're passionate about. And, you know, I started doing the career stuff back in the late 90s, always loved it. Even when I left to, you know, go to corporate America and the government, I still helped people with their resumes. I never let any of that go. And so that's where I gravitated to. So, and, you know, like you, 2020 hits, and you got to think, okay, people aren't looking for resumes right now because nobody's hiring, or, you know, people are getting laid off. Right. What can I do? And then that's when, you know, I started writing more. A lot of people wanted to write books during that time. So I started helping other authors figure out how to get the book out of their head onto paper and then published without being taken advantage of by these different companies that are charging so much money. It kind of like you want to help people, you know, and when you start seeing people getting taken advantage of, it just breaks your heart. And you're like, I had a wonderful mentor. I have a great mentor who's been an author for over 20 years. Right. And I wanted to help others the way she helped me. And awesome. Anyway, so I agree with you. Find out what you like, do your research. You can use tools like YouTube. I think they call it Udemy. Udemy. They sometimes they offer stuff for free during COVID. I know one of the authors I was following, the teachers, whatever you call them, was offering all their classes for free for a month, and they were phenomenal Adobe Creative Cloud classes. So I took a lot of those. But and they also have universities that offer free courses. So you don't have to seek a degree, but if you want to learn something, you can use that. I would say just do a search. And then you hit the nail on the head. And this goes to what I was saying about you being a serial entrepreneur with the connections, super connector. You reach out to people who have done things, and that helps you sidestep stuff, I think. Yes. All right. So I think we gave the audience some good things about what they can do. So now let's talk about the lessons learned to help them sidestep the mistakes you've made.
This one is a little tricky because obviously hindsight is 2020, and I, you know, looking back, like, oh, I made some mistakes here and there, but overall I'm happy. But then I was thinking, you know, if I would go back to my younger self, I would have said, I want to create boundaries very early. Boundaries in my marriage, boundaries like family day is only, you know, this day, nobody answers. I'm not answering the phone. I'm not answering a text during this time. I'm not going to travel on these days. And because what happened was, like I said, right before 2020, I decided lifestyle was getting crazy with flying out and doing weddings, having all these kids. I actually gained 60 pounds because I was staying up till 3. I was, you know, junk fooding it up at weddings. I was getting fast food on the way to an event or whatever. I was skipping meals. I was not doing my water and, you know, my health and wellness lifestyle that I am now. So it actually took me 3 years to detox from that. I have like a do not disturb on my phone between these hours. I have the screen, what's it called? Screen time alert go off at like 9. So like I'm off my phone. I had to set up a lot of boundaries because I had such a destructive hustle mentality of like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. And I had to detox from that. So I have a very strict, you know, morning regimen, get up, go to the gym. I'm doing my podcast, my motivational podcast. And so I'm getting my, good encouragement in the morning. I get my water in, get my good food. I have to track all of my food and my calories now, because then, before I was just like, eat whenever, eat whatever. And so I'm trying to train my husband, who's now an entrepreneur, like, hey, babe, Saturday, don't answer your phone between this. Don't say yes to jobs. Like, don't be that person that's going to say yes, yes, yes to everything, because now he's getting calls and he's, I'll come. It's 9 p.m. No problem. I'll do a phone call. No, no, no. Be strong now, because I'm telling you, it's going to take you a long time to detox from this.
Yes. And like I said earlier, you can quit a job you're not happy with, but you can't leave yourself.
No.
And my husband, when I first started doing my business 3 years ago, I had that, you have the fear of, where am I going to get the clients? How am I going to keep them? So you take everything. I was doing lead generation. I was accepting all of these clients. And I was killing myself. I would get up at 6 a.m, like I did when I was working for the military. And then I wasn't going to bed till I wasn't finished with work until 11 p.m. And then I'd go to bed by 1, and I'm up doing it over and over and over. And my husband finally said, you're going to burn yourself out, and you're not going to be able to help anybody if you do that. And then you can't leave yourself. So what are you going to do after that?
Exactly.
And that took me probably 2 years. I think COVID really helped me step back and say, what are you doing? You can't live a life like that. Like you said, I wasn't putting my family first. I wasn't, everything was business and getting it all done, that hustle mentality. And then you're so drained. And I finally stepped back like you and said, I have got to work out. I have to eat better. I have to spend time with my family. So boundaries, you are so right. Boundaries. Friends out there, if you're thinking about starting a business, in your business plan, somewhere in there, make a note to yourself to have boundaries. The business will come. The clients will come. If you do a good job that you're passionate about, you'll get referrals. You'll get there. Do not sacrifice your health or your family, because if you do that, your health can fail you and your family can leave you. We don't want any of that to happen. You don't want to open the door to any of that. So
And it's hard, because I was just coaching someone yesterday, and she's like, I just feel like I always have to be a success, and I feel like I have to just say yes to everything. And she has a t-shirt business, and I was like, girl, the trick is create passive income streams so that you don't have to do a lot of work, but you're still getting some stuff on the side. Create a day off that you are just off the grid with your family, and you're being with your husband. Go out on a date night, and then you're not going to see as much hustle mentality and all these calls, and your phone's not going to blow up as much, and people might not follow you on Instagram and all this stuff, but you know what? The right people will stay with you. The right business will be there, and it's going to be more meaningful, and it's going to be not just a bunch of little jobs you have to just work so hard. And no, it's going to be good, solid clients that just love you and stick with you no matter what. So.
I totally agree with you. Exactly. I wish my younger entrepreneur self would have realized that and not freaked out so much. Because that was a tough time. And people don't realize there's a thing called workaholism. And I fall right into that category, and I've always have, and I have to be very, very careful. And when you become an entrepreneur, it's very easy to perpetuate that issue. And I have to work very hard not to fall into that. And so friends, remember to take care of yourself first, or you can't take care of anyone else. Put your family first, yourself first, that kind of stuff. All right. So I've talked about you having a book. So tell us a little bit about your book.
Okay, so over the last 10 years, I've been blogging, kind of documenting my journey, parenthood, life, business, mistakes I've made. So I've been blogging through the process, and I was looking at all these blogs. I have over like 52 something blogs about different strategies and marketing things that I learned. And I'm like, that's a book. That is a book. And so I basically just took the ideas from my blog, beautiful graphic design, because, you know, I'm a designer, so like I can't just have text.
Right.
And I'm a photographer, so I just can't have black and white. You know, I have to have it full color, beautiful layout. And so basically just is very practical strategies. If you want to go full-time in your business, it is meant for photographers. It's a full-time photographer marketing strategy. Everything that I've learned. However, the principles in that book, like I said before, I used for my husband as he was transitioning into, you know, going full-time in his business, and the principles are the same. Marketing, getting yourself out there, organically growing your following, organically getting out there, talking to people, getting in front of people, being the first things on people's mind, how to organize your website so that it's a funnel, in the sense of it's not just a bunch of things all over the place, but it's very clear and concise, getting people to click on your button, contact you now, get a plan of action, social media strategies, all this stuff. And so I think it's a great, 130 something pages of very practical, full color, not heavy read. I mean, it is like, okay, like I got a strategy, got a plan, next chapter. And so I'm really proud of it. I think it's going to really help a lot of people. And I use it to coach.
I'm excited. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. Let's see here. All right, Chrome. Here we go.
It's like my brain today. It's like,
There we go. Can you see that?
I can see it. Yes.
Good. Yay. So this is the book. And hopefully you guys can see when I scroll down. She does beautiful work, doesn't she?
Page that I put, are you investing thousands? The phone isn't ringing off the hook. And this, I see this over and over and over again. So many photographers that drop 10,000, 20,000 on gear, but they don't know like how to actually make money off of their business. They don't know how to find clients. And so I just kind of lay it out, what I've learned, all these different strategies.
Right.
What I see over and over again is that they're posting in all these groups like a rat race, like, oh, I need a wedding photographer, and like 57 people, you know, comment like, I'm here. And I'm like, no, I don't even play that game, guys. Like, you need to be above that so that people just tag you like you're the person that we need. And so I teach about that in the book. So,
awesome. So that's the site.
Yes. And the link, I'm sure the link will be in the description. So.
Yes, I'll put up the link in just 1 second. Let me scroll back here. Now, can you see this? No. Okay, I got to share it again. Stop sharing.
I know.
And let me share this one now. I always tease Melanie. She's my podcast partner. And I tell her, I need her on the show so that she can help me with the technical stuff. The funnier thing is I have a PhD in IT. But anyway.
That's hilarious. Yep.
So you can find the book on Amazon.
Yes.
So we can make it a little bigger. There we go.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yes. And actually, I have another book. I have another book percolating. Devoted to motherhood, and how a lot of times, you know, us as women, you know, we say we can do everything which we can, and we can get all this education which we can, but then how does family fit into that? How does having a career and have a family fit into that? So I have been percolating this for 10 years. So that is
good.
That's
awesome. So there's the link to go to the website for the book, and then here's the link to go to Amazon to get it. So there we go. Awesome. Well, this has been great. I think you should also add to your list of things to do, book-wise, you know, helping kids learn how to become entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I think that would be fantastic. See, fantastic. I used it again. I should have used that word for a giveaway. I don't know. Anyway.
I'm doing it. Now the wheels are turning.
I mean, because I watched the process when you posted about your daughter doing the candle. I watched you take her through that. Yep. That would be amazing. I have 5 granddaughters. The oldest granddaughter will be 11, and that would be that'd be perfect for her. And then the next oldest is 7, so they get a little bit younger. But I think that would be awesome.
Now I want to do it like for kids, like make it an interactive workbook for kids. Hey, hey, have you now? What the caveat is, obviously she's 10, so I have to be very careful on social media and the advertising. So I'm sitting with her, so I have to be very, careful
Right.
when we're posting on TikTok, and she's not clicking on random stuff, and so we're
Right.
doing it as a team. And so maybe I just need to make that very clear, like, hey, grab an adult.
Yes, definitely an adult. But I see all of these kits out there,
Yes.
where you can order a kit to make something.
Yes.
It's kind of the same concept, except it would be a book format, and you have the lessons, and I think it would be awesome. I would buy it. I would buy it.
Now you got me thinking. I gotta write this down as soon as we get off.
That's what happens. I come up with lots of ideas, but you actually implement them all. So see?
Yeah, that's how my brain works. It's like, all right, let's do it. So,
all right. Well, is there anything else you would like to share before we close for today?
I would just say keep improving every day. If you hit a wall, build your own door to go around the wall. If opportunity doesn't knock, build that door. Build the tiny home. Whatever it takes to push through obstacles. Be in a market that nobody else is in. See that there's a lot of people over here. There's not a lot of people over here. What can we do with? And a lot of the principles of starting a business and running a business, all these things are the same and can be translated to different aspects. And so that's something that I would just love to pass on.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Well, Crystal, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all of this great information with us. Friends, if you're just tuning in now, no worries. Watch the replay. You can watch it on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. And please watch the whole thing because Crystal shares some really valuable information. I think you will enjoy what she has to say. I think you'll find it informative, relevant, especially, in the time we're living now. And go out and create your own opportunity. That's what I say. Right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. So next week, we'll have another special guest on. I'm not going to share right now. I'm firming up some things. But tune in, same time, Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. And check us out. It's going to be fun. All right. Thanks, Crystal. Awesome. See ya. And thanks, friends. Thanks for joining in. See you next week.